Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer visits with Dr. Gordon Smith, department head at KSU's Grain Science and Industry. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews and Archuleta will talk about cover crops. Then we'll get some useful advice from Lee Borck with Innovated Livestock Services. And we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Kyle Bauer and Dr. Gordon Smith talk about the Grain Science and Industry Department at K-State.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. It's my opportunity to visit with Dr. Gordon Smith. He's the head of the Grain Science and Industry Department at Kansas State. Quite honestly, Doctor, it's probably one of the lesser known and smaller departments in the College of Agriculture, but probably one of the highest in demand.
Yes, sir. We have a long legacy, a 100-year-old department that supplies millers and bakers and feed scientists to the industry across the country and even across the world.
And the demand for your graduates is not going down.
No, not at all. In fact, the demand has gone up even in my duration here. So in the last 3 years, we could probably provide the industry with 30 or 40% more students than we are at present.
In like manner, though, it's not a cheap department to operate. You have a lot of labs, and it takes a lot to educate those students.
We do. So we have 2 facilities here which are full operational mills. So a flour mill and a feed mill where students can actually practice what they learn in the classroom on a, maybe a 10th scale production facility, but they actually, for the feed mill, they actually make the feed that the dairy herds and the meat herds utilize at K-State.
What's the normal path on students through your department? Do people know when they first come in that that's what they want to do, or do they get to it later?
Yeah, it's funny. We're one of the best kept secrets that there's a lot of engineering, chemistry, science, and so it's not a light technical degree. It's a heavy technical degree. And many students come from friends or from acquaintances or relatives that are already in the industry. And so we are the best kept secret in a lot of ways. We're placing 100% of our students. We could place many more, and these are good paying jobs and good careers.
Well, truly though, if in that industry, you are really, really tied to the industrial people on a daily basis.
We are, and so my background is 25 years in the industry, and so I come from the food industry. We are tied to the grain industry, to storage, to flour millers, to feed production, and to bakers. And so we spend a lot of time trying to understand what it is that the industry needs from our students.
Your area out there, though, is practically, it's got to be state-of-the-art because it's all pretty much been rebuilt in the last 10 to 15 years.
It is. We're an interesting mix of old and new. So the facilities on the North Campus are beautiful. They're new and modern. And the facilities on the main campus, while we have the prime real estate on campus, are older and more challenging. But we are getting money from industry and money from alumni as well to improve those facilities. So,
we're visiting with Dr. Gordon Smith. He is head of the Grain Science and Industry Department at Kansas State University.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family-owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jancy Hall, Program Manager with the Kansas Soybean Commission, joins us. And Jancy, the Kansas Soybean Commission wants to help out Kansas middle and high school family and consumer sciences departments by inviting them to participate in the Kansas Soybeans as a Food program.
Yes, we do. We're looking forward to this year's program and getting soy food into the classroom.
You have a deadline, though, that's coming up to submit your application, though.
For this fall semester, the deadline to apply is September 20th. So for all those teachers to get their applications in for that fall semester, you can also apply for the spring and submit both applications at the same time or apply later for the spring.
What's the website to do that at?
The website to do that is kansassoybeans.org/soy food.
So what is the main purpose of this program?
The purpose of this program is to get into those classrooms and teach kids about soy foods and the health benefits of those. The other component of the program is to show that the number one consumer of soybeans is animal agriculture. So for every dollar that these teachers get for their school classrooms, up to half of that can actually be used for meat and dairy products as well, because those guys eat a lot of soybeans.
Now, a perk to this for those teachers and for those departments is that you can get reimbursed for some of these products.
Yes, you can. For every classroom, we give $2 a student for the use of soy foods and animal protein, and they can get that money reimbursed to incorporate some of this stuff into their classroom.
Now, you will also give them reference materials and updated information as well?
Yeah, we give our teachers a whole bunch of goodies, from recipes that are made with the intention of using them in the classroom to interactive worksheets and quizzes, as well as just some videos more about soybeans and their many uses and the health benefits of eating soy.
And one of the main things about this is good use of the checkoff dollars with the Kansas Soybean as a Food program.
It definitely is. We're getting kids educated more about soybeans and their many uses and how to incorporate soybeans into their daily life, while also using some of those soybeans that our farmers are growing.
Once again, that deadline for the fall 2017 FACTS program is September 20th, 2017, and they can call your office as well?
Yes, sir. We'd love to chat with them about the program a little bit more. It is 785-271-1040.
Jancy, we appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Jancy Hall, Program Manager with the Kansas Soybean Commission, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor as Duane and Ray Archuleta discuss cover crops.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action, because every action counts. I will take action, this time, for all time.
I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take action. This time, for all time. I will take a
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Duane and Ray talk cover crops.
Duane Toews joining you on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Ray Archuleta and talking about soil health and cover crop field day where we caught up. And Ray, certainly there's more known all the time, but probably still more unknown about soil microbes and that thing that we call agriculture. What goes on below the ground, there's probably more happening than above the ground that we typically see.
Well, that's true. There's millions and millions of species. In fact, the soil has more species than all the species above, insect, plant. The soil is an incredible ecosystem, and that's true. We still don't know a bunch about that soil.
Tell us a little bit about when you work with a group of growers, about what you try and convey in the big picture of things that's going to help them be more profitable and have a better feel about how they operate within their agricultural system.
I think the most powerful thing that can happen for producers is change the way they think. They got to change the way they look at the farm, especially the soil. The soil, the farm, never stopped being part of the planet Earth. It's an amazing ecosystem. It's complex, it's elegant, and it wants to be fed. So, and it's fed through diversity of plants and animals. So I think that's the first thing, is understand that the soil's alive.
Talking about soils being alive, a lot of discussion in recent years about understanding what happens when there's a growing plant on top of the soil with that root system below it, and not breaking that cycle, but intermixing it.
Yes, is restoring that carbon cycle. First thing is to capture as much solar energy as possible, and that solar energy feeds that soil. It runs on what we call liquid sun. All those compounds that leak into the soil, it runs the soil microbes. Microbes are 90% of nutrient cycling. If farmers understand that, they can reduce their chemical inputs by quite a bit.
We think about how we got to this point. Obviously, there was a lot of discussion about no-till in the past 30 years. Really we've moved beyond that to looking at really healthy soils and how they can be a part of that system as well.
Yeah, great comment. I think what we did is, in the 80s or the 70s, we promoted no-till because we could see the benefit. But see, no-till only stops the destruction of the house, but it doesn't feed the factory workers in there. It's the multi-species mixes, it's the plants, it's the rotations, it's the animals that drive that system. So we were missing half the equation. So now we're telling producers, no-till stops the destruction, but now the plants and the diversity feed the system.
Our thanks to Ray Archuleta joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Angus Report.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and Lee Borck with Innovated Livestock Services.
When you're feeding cattle, it pays to remember why and who your ultimate customer is. That's advice from a veteran cattle feeder and businessman who heads up one of the most successful marketing cooperatives in the country. Lee Borck became a cattle feeder in 1978 after an initial career with the Farm Credit System. Feeding was attractive, but he learned to manage risk from the loan officer side.
They were the folks that weren't afraid to try new things. They were taking more risk. They got more bumps, but they got more rewards at the same time. And one thing that I learned in being at production credit and on the financing side, I didn't learn so much what to do, but you could certainly see the mistakes that people made in the way that they looked at their business plan and not thinking far enough out in front as to what might happen to them.
Not even the most cautious planners figured on 18% interest in the early 1980s, but Borck weathered that storm and later reflected it's possible to be too careful.
You've got to have a few failures to learn what not to do again. To be really successful, you have to be able to make a decision when you have 65% of the information that is available of the 100% total information that's out there. If you wait till you get to 90%, all the good deals are gone because everybody else has made that decision. But that also means that occasionally you're going to fail and you're going to go backwards. But if you can make 7 or 8 deals out of 10 work, you're going to move ahead, and you're going to move ahead pretty good.
One notable exception, where cattle producers cannot afford to fail, is in pleasing beef consumers.
Somebody buys a steak from one of my animals and they go home and eat it. They're not going to bring that steak back like they do if they get a defect in a refrigerator or a tire or something else that they buy. They just don't come back and buy another steak for a while.
Borck says the key to producing fail-proof beef is branding, backed by attributes consumers want.
And the big change isn't so much that we're producing animals that taste better, that eat better, as much as it is that we're recognizing that we've got to produce what the consumer wants rather than producing what we want and saying, what will you give me for it? We know there's a premium market that's out there for cattle with certain attributes, and it has changed the way that we do business.
Borck was named the 2017 Industry Achievement Award honoree by this year's Feeding Quality Forum Committee. He suggests beef producers should worry less about failing in their endless quest to earn more dollars from consumers. I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months, and I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to today on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews.
Kyle Bauer, your fact or fiction question of the day. Birds have 4 toes per foot. The difference between parrots and other birds is that parrots have 2 toes in the front of each foot, 2 behind each foot. Most other birds have 3 in the front and 1 behind. Fact or fiction?
Now, this isn't fair because you are the resident poultry person on staff.
Resident poultry, not aficionado, just maybe no more than the rest.
Well, you've seen certainly more than I have. They basically they're able to grab onto limbs and things because of those feet.
And they don't fall off the limb when they sleep because when they bend their elbows, it latches
down on
latches
there.
the feet tight shut.
So it's basically saying parrots are the only ones in the world that have 4.
They all got 4. It's just parrots have 2 in the front, 2 in the back.
I'm going to go with fiction.
It's true.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
all other ones have
toe
3
arrangements allow it to use toes like 2 sets of opposable thumbs.
So they can grab onto things easier.
Yeah, that'd be why they can open the old gate on the cage and take a hiatus.
Is that right?
It's possible, yeah. That and the fact they use their beaks quite a bit.
Have you ever been around horses that are pretty good at opening gates?
No.
I
knew a fence builder like that once.
Well, I've seen things on the internet about horses that will,
sure,
learn to open the gate. Not because they're trying to teach them to do that.
No.
Because the horse knows that the feed's out there and he's going to
feed's on the other side.
Right, exactly right. Well, LT, you've been around my horse quite a lot, and he is a strong-willed horse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it matches its owner, maybe.
Yeah,
well,
that's
what about your dog matching. It looks like the owner.
Well, my kids always say, the horse acts like he's on crack, and the guy riding him acts like he's on crack. So it's
did too.
Okay.
So what's LT up to?
Well, he will push gates open, and he'll test every one of them.
I'll just lean on him.
He just bumps them with his chest. He bumps them with his chest, and he'll check every gate to make sure it's latched, because if it's not, they'll just
coming
push
open
it open.
and away you go.
And none of my other horses do that. If the gate is closed,
well, leave it well enough alone.
Well enough alone. But LT, he will try every gate. He just bumps them. And so my point is if I have a portable corral set up and I just pull the gate shut, works fine for all the other horses.
Except
LT. He will walk up, bump it. Now, he may walk out and walk back in.
Just because he can.
Because he can. He just wants to see. It's like,
is this really shut
or not?
And it's not bad as he wanting to keep me in.
Yeah, and the thing is he's not really even wanting to be out.
Yeah,
he's just a habit, I guess he learned over the years or something. I don't know.
It's hard telling. For a horse though, there are very few things in life that kind of humor them or hold their interest.
You're saying he does it for entertainment?
I think so.
I suspect you're right.
Everything else he's got to do is walk around and eat grass.
Right.
Nothing terribly exciting about that.
So his hobby in life is opening gates.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.